Well, I'm gonna start getting combine service out today. Got the 7300 over here last night, so it was ready to go when I got home from work. And so I'll run this thing down to the house and get rolling on it. Really, list of things I got to do to it's kind of short. So I got all the major stuff done to it last year. So just your typical changing oil, stuff like that. And I'm gonna do to redo the light wiring in it, because last year, every once in a while the headlights would go out and you have to wiggle the harness, and it's that damn Scotch lock right there. I hate them things. So I'm gonna get rid of those and put regular butt splices in it and route them a little different so it doesn't look so tacky. Correctly, a 288 white. But there aren't that many 288s around. Was only rated at 95 horse, I think, when it was in this machine. And I guarantee you this motor's got more ass than that 318 could ever hope to have, because this sumbitch will go. The first year I had it, I was running 250 bushel corn on probably better than 20% grade, which was interesting in a combine this small, but I don't even think the governor ever kicked in. Even carrying that 4.0 head around, she'd just move. And it sips fuel. I haven't even I've had it for this might be 3 years out. No, I've had it 2 years now, and I've only ran 1 tank of fuel through it. So she's definitely efficient to run. Oh boy. Since this thing's the way these machines are built, they got the engine right in between the cab and the grain tank. So in order to drain the engine oil, they got this hose running over the side of the machine. See how much of a mess I can make here. Now I'm waiting for the oil pan to drain down. Get the filter off. You're gonna see how much of a mess. I'll see how much of a mess I make. Because I honestly do not remember how I did this the first time to keep it from going everywhere. Maybe it just went everywhere. Because they got these panels you can pull out of the grain tank to get to the back of the motor, but it takes longer to pull the panels out than it does just unscrew the filter and clean up whatever oil spills out. So not terrible. Here's the big bad Perkins. I was trying to figure out when we first got it, just for shits and giggles, how to get a turbo off of a 2105 and stick on here, but I couldn't figure out a clean way to do it. And also, after doing some research, I found out that I do believe a turbo 354 has a different head on it than the naturally aspirated, so it would have been a little bit more work than what it was worth. And really, it doesn't need one anyway. I just thought it'd be cool to have a turbocharged 7300. And you probably noticed the filter I took off of this thing was a Napa, and what's going on is a Baldwin. And the reason for that is we figured out that Baldwin filters are just as good as Napa filters, but they're almost a third of the price. That filter right there was $6, and that Napa filter I took off here I think was about 16. I got two engine oil filters and two secondary fuel filters. I'm waiting on the primaries, but I got a NOS Perkins filter I'm going to put in the primary for this season. So I got these two of these and two of those filters. It was only $20. And then I got two of these coming, and I got two oil filters for the 525 coming, and I guarantee you that's probably going to be about another $20. So I have 8 filters for, yeah, 8 filters for about $40. I guarantee if I'd got all of them from Napa, I'd be looking at close to 100. So, and part of the reason they're so much cheaper is Napa, Napa filters are made by Wix, and Wix kind of specializes more on the automotive end of things, while Baldwin is more a heavy-duty truck and off-road equipment manufacturer, so they can get away with being cheaper because they handle a lot more volume of the bigger stuff. So I would highly recommend, if you can get on Baldwin's website and find a dealer locator. Our closest one's Road Equipment down in South Bend, but yeah, you can get on their website, find your closest dealer, and which I highly recommend. Any of you guys that have a lot of farm equipment or construction equipment, or even your pickups and stuff, I highly recommend you look up your nearest Baldwin dealer, because that'll save you a lot of money in the long run on filters. So far on everything we bought filters for, they've beat Napa out by at least $10. So as we go through and service stuff, we're switching everything over. The only thing still running Napa filters as of right now is my 525 still got a Napa filter in it, but I got a Baldwin filter coming. And my 1955 has got all Baldwin filters on it, or sorry, all Napa filters on it except the hydraulic oil filter, which we which we switched over to Baldwin this year. Yeah, this is always fun. There we go. There we go. Got the engine oil back in it, so now it's time to change out the fuel filters. It's always a good idea to shut the fuel off at the tank, that way the fuel can't siphon back and you don't lose prime. Don't want to come over here. And they do have a drain on the primary filter, but for some reason they didn't think to put a drain on the secondary, but there's enough room there you can get a bowl all the way underneath it, so it's not really that big of a deal. Oh, forgot my rag. Yep. It's one bad thing about having to change diesel fuel filters is really no matter how you do it, it always makes a mess. And we got some snot in there. When we first got this thing, if you watched the first video I ever put up running corn with it, which was the 250 bushel corn on the steep hills, I said we were running it with the 15-year-old diesel fuel in it. And the reason we did that was it had almost a full freaking tank of fuel, and we didn't want to drain it because what the heck are you going to do with 50 gallons old diesel fuel? And it actually ran pretty good on it. But the fuel wasn't necessarily the problem. It also had a bunch of red algae crap in it, which I guess is something diesels or old diesel fuel is prone to getting in it. And we played hell getting that out of the tank, and eventually it came to the point where we had to actually pull the entire fuel tank off the machine, and we dumped a mild acid in it. I can't remember what the heck it's called. It's actually stuff for swimming pools, but we dumped that in there, and that took care of most of it. Every once in a while, this thing's got a little teeny tiny micro filter down in the sediment bowl, and every once in a while we got it'll start to stall out, and that's where it's plugged is that little filter right there. You take that out, and generally it's plugged up with that little red crap. But it's getting a lot better than what it was. And we've pretty much done all we could do with it. Basically at this point all you can do is run it till it's all out. Alright, oil's in it. Filters are primed back up, so hopefully